Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the very first ever KnuckleHeads podcast.
You should restart it.
Yeah,
You should restart it.
I'm not going to
Because
restart
I clapped to sync the
it. I
audio.
don't need to sync the audio, Dick. I'm recording
Oh.
on Discord.
Oh. Got you.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever KnuckleHeads.
You should restart again. No.
This is never going to air.
We need bloopers.
All right, so
right,
hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever KnuckleHeads podcast. I am Nico, and this is
I'm Pyro.
Pyro.
No.
However, we'll talk about that in a minute. And this is our first podcast ever. We're going to talk about basically nerd stuff, games, movies, TV shows, literally anything, car reviews that I do, because that's what I do for my job. Literally anything that we want to talk about. But mostly surrounding nerd stuff and kind of our YouTube channel and streaming stuff. So, yeah, what's up, man?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Nice. So I thought maybe we should introduce ourselves because no one knows who we are. And I feel like every time we stream, if anyone's watching, they're kind of wondering who's talking and what. It's like when you listen to a radio show for the first time, you don't know who's talking because you can't understand who they which voice matches which person. So I figured it'd be kind of a good thing to introduce ourselves. So why don't you go first?
Oh, sweet. Let me start off. All right.
Yeah, that's the buck. That's the whole thing.
So my name is Arnold, which I go by Pyro because Arnold, everybody has 1,000,001 jokes for, and
Do they?
I've heard them all.
What are Arnold?
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hey Arnold, and this is Arnold from Green Acres, the pig. There's a ton of them that go around. You don't know Green Acres?
No. Is it
Green Acres is the place to be. No, all right. So anyway, old TV show. But anyway, so I am the Pyro. I've always been involved in gaming and computers and
like arson.
just. No, not yet. We're not getting to that. We'll get to that nickname later. But I do stream. I work full time in a dealership, but after hours when I'm not with my family and not with my amazing wife, I do stream. I started out on Mixer years ago, and the reason why I started streaming was because I love meeting new people, especially in the gaming world. I think back to when we first got into this, playing LAN games, and you can only play with your closest friends, where now you literally have an unlimited reach around the world. And so I was on Mixer for a long time. Mixer shut down almost about 9 months ago, 10 months ago from when we're recording this. And I started over on Twitch and started to dive into YouTube. And just the people that are out there that just want to play and hang out is just amazing. The people I get to meet from all around the world, whether it be on the West Coast, we're on the East Coast here, but people on the West Coast, people out in Europe, it's just absolutely amazing just to get different aspects, different point of views from them and how they play and what they do for a living. So it's nice to get to know them. But gaming I've always been a huge fan of because if you're an introvert like me, you don't really like going out and socializing with people.
It's a way to talk to people still.
Yeah, I know, which is weird because as much as I'm an introvert, I almost feel comfortable doing it through a camera, through a microphone, over online. In front of people, I'd rather not. I just want to do
close proximity.
Yeah, I don't like it. Especially during this whole pandemic, I don't want people near me at all.
Have you realized the pandemic has proven how gross we all used to be? Do you remember just I don't know, just breathing in people's space? It's oh my god, get away from me now. It's kind of freaking me out.
And now you look at everybody. Did you wash your hands? Mm-hmm. Did you put sanitizer on? Why is your mask under your nose? I hate you. You're disease infested. Get away from me.
One person it's cut his hand off. Get it away.
Yep. He's got to be escorted out. but like I do love meeting new people and getting to make videos and creating content online. And I mean that's really where my dream and passion is. Like I don't want to work full time at a dealership as much as I love it and enjoy it. I'd rather be doing this,
Well,
you know.
this is
Like
great.
and it's not because it's easy because everybody and their mother looks up videos. Like when I first started doing this, everyone's like, "Ah, it's easy. You just go on, hit live, blah blah." Blah." I went for like 4 months streaming to like 0 to 3 people,
Yeah.
and now just like I don't have a ton of followers as of now, but I do have like about 30 people to 50 people on a regular who stop in from time to time, different streams. I play with them, I game with them, and like we built a nice little community,
Right.
and it's amazing. And I'm there for them, like with either gaming or if they want to talk about life. You know, like that's one of the great things about reaching out online is I know what's going on in their life, they know what's going on in my life, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And that's what kind of drives me to do what I do and to help build this up, you know, to get more knuckleheads in here and kind of all come together and just show our passions and what we love to do, you know?
Is that what fans of ours are going to be called? Knuckleheads, I guess.
Yeah,
Instead of believers,
absolutely.
or like
Like believers.
yeah, isn't that Justin Bieber's people believers or whatever?
I thought he was made up. Is that a real person?
He's from Hogwarts, I think.
I thought that was like a 10-year-old girl that went around playing with my size Barbies.
It might be. You know, I'm not entirely.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to research this. I'm not sure.
Justin Belieber. No, yeah, I feel you. It's definitely fun to kind of. To be honest, I'm actually kind of used to meeting people, like virtually, from all over the world. I mean, my job is very odd in the sense that, you know, I'm a car journalist slash blogger. I guess really I'm a car blogger, but I say journalist because if you don't know
This sounds fancy.
yeah, if you don't know the industry and you like go to a dinner party and no one knows who you are, and you're like, oh, I'm a car blogger. People are like, you're unemployed, right? Like, so I say journalist because it just sounds like it's a real job, even though it is a real job. I do get paid for my services. Technically, I am a car blogger. So, but I say journalist because it sounds better. But being online and talking about, you know, cars and just, you know, doing my job, I've made a lot of contacts around the world, people that I've never met in person, people that I actually know relatively well, you know, like know who they are, where they're from, you know, what their life is like, and they know mine, you know, my life a little bit, and I've never seen this person, you know, in person ever, so I'm kind of used to that. But what I like is in this world, this field, it's a lot more positive. Like the commenters that I get usually tell me how much of a shithead I am and how much I suck. So I actually had one dude tell me to hang myself, which I thought was really fun.
Oh, I had one of those in Rocket League the other
Oh,
day.
really?
Yeah, that was fun.
That is surprising because typically the gaming industry is more positive. It's more like, oh, that was funny, like you got killed and you suck, but it's kind of funny.
Oh
So
no,
watching, but like,
no, people that you play against are salty as
well,
hell.
yeah, you play against, but I mean, like the people watching your stream, like it's pretty positive. Whereas
Yeah,
overall, I mean, obviously you're gonna get, you know, the toxic idiots all over the place, but like
always.
in my field, if I say one thing, like if I'm like, I thought this car's headlights were ugly, I am the biggest piece of shit to have ever existed to a lot of people. So I like that I like the difference here, in that it's friendlier. People are willing to like reach out and kind of be like, hey, like I'll follow you, I'll subscribe to you, you know, especially with Twitch. With Twitch, people pay money to
Yep.
subscribe to you. People pay money to help you out, and there's definitely a sense of community that's really really interesting. So that's why I like this a lot. So I agree that there's a really good community in the gaming industry that, you know, I never really felt prior, because we used to play video games all the time together. I played video games
Right.
forever, but I never really joined into this up until last month.
Yeah.
We started this, so I'm still very new to it, but I have been impressed by the positive.
Like it's weird to see how it developed too, because like I said, like we used to go from like Age of Empires hooked up on the same network, like by running like an Ethernet cable from one PC to the other. Like it wasn't even like on a wireless network in your house. It was like literally plugging a computer into the other computer.
Right. Yeah. By the way,
And
for points of reference, we are actually stepbrothers. That's why.
yes, yes, yes.
That's why we had to run a cable across the hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, when they came out with like Steam, and I'm just trying to think, like, I think Steam was probably the
Steam account.
oldest ones.
Yeah, you set up my first. Actually, the account you set up for me for Steam is still my account today that I've used to this day. Username and password, the exact same.
Unclean.
No, that was the name I made up. But my actual login for Steam is the same one you made for me when you were probably like 17.
Yeah.
I was probably like, I don't know, I was like 12 or some shit. Like 13. You made it for me, and you made it as a joke, and it was Monkey Balls with a Z.
Yes.
That is still
I remember that.
my Steam account name. The Monkey Balls.
I remember that.
My password, which I won't disclose, obviously, is the same as you made it back in whatever. It's the same thing.
But like, so you go from that to like Steam, where you can have like friends lists, and you can see where other people are playing.
Yeah.
You can see what game they're playing and be like, "Ooh, I have that game," and jump on. And like that's one great thing with like Xbox and PlayStation too. When they developed that whole thing about going online and getting onto like Xbox Live or PlayStation Network is playing with your friends.
Yeah.
And it's just like absolutely insane.
Yeah. I
Like,
the first time
or you just join lobbies,
right,
and make friends.
Right. Do you remember the first time you played Halo multiplayer? I mean, what was it, Halo 2 that had the multiplayer with like the first in-game lobby, where like you and your friends would have like a group in a lobby, and you would jump from match to match together.
Yeah.
I remember being blown away by that. Like, holy shit, is that
You
cool?
could follow each other around. It's not like, hey, like where Counter-Strike, we used to be like, hey, look at this server number. Here's the IP address.
Oh my god, that sucked balls. It'd be like, oh my god, put this IP address in, and then like you would join because like maybe your internet was just 0.3 seconds faster than mine. So I'd go to join, but the server would be full after you joined. Like, son of a bitch, now we got to leave and go on a different server. So when Halo 2, I think it was.
But you remember, it was like IP and then the port too you had to put in, or something. It was like the IP address colon like 5002 or something.
It was like overly complex. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now it's just you just click and you go.
I will say Counter-Strike is still a little bit behind the curve. We played it the other night, and I played with my cousin Anthony. We streamed it actually like 2 weeks ago or last week or something, and like it's kind of still kind of shitty in Counter-Strike. Like, and Call of Duty or any modern game, multiplayer game, your lobby follows. It just goes everywhere. Your lobby goes everywhere with you.
For the most part.
Counter-Strike doesn't though.
For the most part.
Right. For the most part.
Games are more like worried about now, because if you like drop from a game or you have like a bad latency, like that's their like main focus. Where if you go to join your friend and they go into like a rank match where they can't lead, let's take Rocket League for example. If you're going into a rank match where it's like 2v2 and you go with your teammate, and all of a sudden for some reason your teammate gets disconnected from the party when nothing was hitting, and it's like, well, I can't exit now or else I'm banned from playing rank matches for 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah,
so now I just got to play a 8 to 10 minute game. The timer's 5 minutes, but it usually takes about 8 to 10 minutes to play a game. And it's like, okay, so then your teammate goes and joins, and then it sucks.
Discombobulated, yeah.
Right. But the gameplay's alright. But most games are broken. There's so much to, like, you're playing online. So you go from playing with a LAN cable to playing with people across the world. So it still blows me away. Like, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Right, sometimes you got to give the game a little slack. Like when a crash or something goes bad, it's like, okay, the one code and a million lines of code just messed up a little bit.
Right.
Like we're playing.
We've gotten so impatient now where it's like, I didn't get your email. I refreshed. I didn't get it. It's like
that was
the data is getting sent to outer space.
It's going to space and back.
Like, it's insane, and we've grown so impatient as a world.
Yeah, like, it's pretty remarkable. And I always think of, like, I was playing Warzone last night. I was streaming it last night on the channel, and the game was like glitching out. Like it was having like my textures weren't loading, and it was all fucking wonky, and I couldn't see anything. And I was kind of getting pissed off at it. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. And then I realized, like, okay, wait a minute. There's 150 people in this game on different platforms. Some are PC, some are different consoles across the world, all playing in one map at the same time. If you had told me that that was going to be the case when I was like 13, I would have laughed at you. I mean, like, that's not physically possible. So,
No.
like, it's insane now. And it's insane how far we've seen gaming come because, like, you know, like,
well, we were in it from like the start. Like me personally, I was around with like Q Basic, where like I made like it was like a cityscape that you made, and I forgot what it was called. But it was basically like Worms before Worms were Worms, where you were two gorillas, and you had a wind and like a gravity setting, and depending on how you threw, like you had to physically type in the angle and strength number
tell me you were
and watch. You were throwing bananas, actually.
Gorillas
but, like, across buildings and, like, watching them curve, like, that was, like, Q Basic. That was DOS. And, you know, and now I'm like, oh, wireless mice, you know, LEDs, RGBs. Like, everything's RGBs. Like, it's just... when you think about it, it hasn't been that long. Like, it's all been within my life.
Yeah, you know what's
which really isn't long at all.
I was thinking about this the other day because I just upgraded my PC, and you know I was putting my shit back in, and I was looking at my graphics card. I sent you a picture. The graphics card is huge. I have a Radeon 5700. It's the PNY version, so it's called the Thick, THICC, like a thick ass, like that.
Yeah.
Because it's so gigantic, and I'm literally putting it in the case like. This is insane. I remember my first graphics card ever. Do you remember AGP slots?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Card ever was an AGP. I think it was a 32 megabyte card.
Yeah.
A 64 megabyte card. It was something like so hilarious. Like my phone has more memory.
Right. That's what's crazy. Like, think about that. Like, I remember, like, my stepdad used to program computers for Foley Caterpillar. Right. So in the server room, you had the big friggin' machines that was like the size of like a washer, dryer, and a refrigerator put together with two big tape cassettes that spin around in circles.
The Alan Turing, like fucking wall of computers.
But it was in a room the size of like the freezer section of like Walmart or Target or ShopRite or whatever. But it was like 1,000 square feet of these computers that were kept at 30 degrees because they couldn't cool themselves.
Right, yeah.
So you literally saw your breath in these server rooms because there was no cooling, where now you can literally take your phone, and that's like the power of 1,000,000 of those rooms.
You ever see the breakdown of how much more powerful one smartphone is than all of the computer systems that sent people to the moon, like the NASA setup? It's like 200,000 times more powerful than that, and you know they sent human beings to the fucking moon. Like
listen, I was playing PUBG Mobile on my iPad.
It's crazy. I was playing Call of Duty Mobile on my phone. It's fucking nuts.
And it's the same thing as playing on the computer. You have all those players, all those inputs on mobile devices.
I know. It's wild.
And the graphics are better than any computer was back then.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, do you remember Counter-Strike 1.6?
Yeah. That was the big update for Counter-Strike that everybody loved.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was like
Yep.
the greatest multiplayer game in history.
I think that was right before Go.
No, it was Counter-Strike Source.
Source. That's right.
That was my shit. Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Because I was like old enough to like finally like get a job and like buy a computer, like a good computer to play Counter-Strike Source. I remember being like, holy shit, this is mind-blowing. Like the graphics are amazing. It was so much fun. Half-Life 2 is still like my favorite game of all time. So that was pretty cool.
And thinking back to that, like you have all this talk now in these games online where people cheat to get ahead.
I know,
Like
nuts.
we used to have, like, not for nothing, we had mods and hacks in Counter-Strike
Yeah, we
1.6
never really went
and
like we
Source.
never really went crazy. Like we had like funny mods. We didn't do like
But
wall hacks
yeah,
or
but we
anything
did
like
it.
that.
But I did.
I didn't do any wall hacks.
But like I did it to like just spam and have fun, but I would be like ha, 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 and like shoot somebody in the foot. Like I wouldn't go in and destroy the whole room, and then would shut it off and play regular because I was good enough.
Also, a Counter Strike match was like 5 minutes long, and it wasn't
Right.
like intense. Like the thing that's getting bad is right now people in Warzone cheating like crazy, and it's like, dude, the Warzone matches are like a half hour long. You have to sit there and loot for like 25 minutes. It's insane. And all
Yeah,
of a sudden
and you get within like the last like 10 teams,
and then
and a guy just boop.
wall shoots you through the wall because he can see everything, and it's like, oh, you suck, man. Like this takes forever. Like this is a lot of work, and it's fun as hell when everyone's playing normal. But when someone cheats, it really ruins it.
Yeah. Like it used to be like I saw what was it? The one Counter-Strike one. It showed me lines coming out of the tip of people's guns across the entire map, and it showed distance.
Yeah, because it could sort of tell you where they were looking, and like
Yeah, it was like wireframed. And then there was also like a fly mode where you can go under the map and they couldn't shoot you. You could like pop out of a wall, like in GoldenEye. Like you pop out of a wall, just bang bang, and then go disappear.
Talk about an old fucking game, dude. GoldenEye 64. That
Yeah.
was the best. I remember playing that for the first time at a friend's house because I didn't have a Nintendo 64. So I played that for the first time at a friend's house, and they were like, "Here's a second controller. You can play with me." I was like, "Wait a minute.
What?
I can play at the same time as you, and we're playing in like the same thing, and it's
Dude, N64 was 4 controls.
yeah, I know." And I remember being like, "Wait a minute, we're like gonna play against each other in like this crazy map? Like, wow, what?" I was blown away by it. It was so much fun. That was like
So from the original Nintendo to N64, which was years and years apart, 'cause you had Super Nintendo, you had a bunch of things between that, you still blew on the cartridge.
yeah, yep. Do you know to this day I
It
still
was
have an
never
instinct?
proven
No,
what that does. Because you're actually spitting on the contacts and resting them out.
Right, and you could also be putting more dust onto them, like blowing
Correct.
shit around. Like it probably did nothing, but it was,
No, 'cause how would dust get in it? You're putting it in a slot,
right.
and that's it. It wasn't sitting upside down on a shelf.
We were primitive people back then.
Well, think about Xbox, the Ring of Death. You smack it,
Oh my
it
God.
works.
Dude, that fucking worked.
It worked.
There's actually a reason why that worked. I found out years later that remember we used to heat it up. We would put a towel.
Yeah, the
around
solder
it.
would broke.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
they were cold soldered. So when you actually heated it up, the solders would reconnect. So when it overheated, the
Yep.
solders would reconnect, and it would work again for a little bit until it cooled back down, and then the solders would crack again.
Yep.
So that actually was true. That actually did work.
And like with the smack, like it's basically an electrical current that as soon as you hit it, like arcs to itself and
Yeah, it was weird. It would like
welds it back.
restart it. Yeah, it was wild. Do you remember that? We'd be like, it was so funny, and we would always know when it was happening to one of us because you'd hear from the other room, smack, and then I was back on.
And that was that double smack to always work with the
Yeah,
Xbox.
on the same side.
Ah.
Boom, on the same side. Or on the same
I'm
side.
pretty sure it was just like Microsoft Smack It.
Yeah, and then you bring it back like my Xbox is broken. What happened? I don't. Why is it rattling on the inside? I don't know. I didn't.
I don't know what happened. Did you open it? Yeah, I put a hard
I didn't smack
drive
it
in it.
500 times.
I didn't put it in the oven at 200 degrees for 45 minutes, like everybody suggested you
It was
do.
delicious, but afterwards, yeah. So this has gotten way off the rails. We've gotten way.
It has.
Yeah.
Well, it just proves like how far gaming has come, though. Like,
it also proves that we are gaming dinosaurs. We've been doing
Yeah.
this for a long time.
like I'm blown away, and I mean, not like we have to get off the subject, but I think back, and I'm still blown away by this. Twisted Metal was one of my favorite
yeah.
part games in the world.
Sidebar.
Twisted
speaking of
Metal
movies,
2. I saw that. I can't wait. Twisted Metal 2 was my ultimate best game I've ever played in my life, next to Driver. But Driver was single player.
Driver.
Yeah.
Game.
But I look back at the graphics, like, I used to be like, oh, this is great. I see. There's the ice cream truck. Oh, there's the cop car. Oh, yeah. And I look back at these graphics, and I'm like, I can't tell what the fuck they are. Like, I don't know if it's because, like, our monitors, like, when we're looking this up, I can look it up on my phone, this little 5-6 inch screen. you still can't make out what the fuck it is.
No.
But I don't know if it's because of the resolution of what it was. It looked clearer, but that just means the pixels were that much bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I know
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know what the difference was, but I've looked at old games like I couldn't play this. Like I wouldn't have I couldn't do it now. I can't see shit. Like
no.
I don't know if it's our eyes getting worse as we get older, but like,
No, the games are horrible.
it's like how did we make out any of this?
Mario 64, when that came out, when Nintendo 64 came out and Mario 64 launched, that was one of the best graphics I ever saw in my life.
At the time, it was like amazing.
At the time, I was like, it's like a 3D world. Like I'm really there. Even though it's cartoony, it was crisp, clear, and amazing.
You know what game blew my mind? I went back and played it again, maybe a couple of years ago. Like I played it again for the first time since I was like a fucking little kid.
I feel like you're gonna say like Crisis or the one with the hand.
What?
Starts with a D.
The one with the hand?
Yeah, it's like the outer space one. What the hell is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Oh, Dead Space was great. I love that game. No, I'm talking the original Doom from like 1993. So my dad, my real dad, was probably a dumbass. Oh, he is a dumbass, but he let me play Doom when I was like 7. Probably not great because there's like fucking flying pentagrams and heads on spikes and it's fucked up, right?
When there was no filters whatsoever.
Right. So I'm like, it's probably why I'm a psychopath. But I went back and I played it. I'm like, how the fuck did anyone know what they were looking at? It's just like pixelated garbage. Like, what the fuck?
It's like looking at the Microsoft, the Windows screensaver maze.
Yeah.
Like, it just turns corners.
Yeah, and someone vomited pixels onto a screen. Like, it's that color. Like, it's like brown, reds, and colory, like vomit-colored pixels. And it's like, what the fuck is that? So,
it's like you're looking at the game through a kaleidoscope.
Right. And then I have the newest Doom Eternal. And it's one of the most amazing-looking things I've ever played. It's absolutely incredible what they were able to do with that. And it's like, dude, I remember the original. I remember thinking that was amazing, and I'm blown away all over again. So like, we really have seen the whole thing, and it's crazy because like so many people that are older than me are blown away that I play video games. They think that's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, you're a grown man. Like, why do you play video games? And I'm like, yes, I'm like,
you're the same age as me. Like, you didn't play games when you were little, and they're like, yeah, like I had a Game Boy. I'm like, no.
Get out.
Just no.
Take your shit and get out.
I've had almost every console, every handheld, like everything that came out, I've probably owned.
Yeah,
just because of how much I loved it.
I only really
loyal to any brand.
The only consoles I really had were I had the first PlayStation. I didn't have a lot of like gaming consoles when I was a kid. I always had to play them at other people's house because like I wasn't loved as a child. But I got the first PlayStation when PlayStation 2 came out. So I guess my mom was like saw like it was on sale. Like the first one was on sale after the second one came out. So I got that. And I've always had PlayStation because of that. Like I always been a PlayStation guy. But we had Xbox when I was old enough to like buy my own shit. So, working, I bought Xbox and stuff too. But PC has always been my jam.
Think about, to go through it, I had Sega 16-bit, and then they had a 32-bit.
Yeah, I actually...
Sega.
Yeah, I had Sega 16-bit, actually, when I was a really little
kid. I had both.
Sega Genesis, was that it?
Sega Genesis was the... Yeah,
that was dope. I used to play Sonic the Hedgehog every day.
And then they had Sega CD, which was just an add-on for your shitty Sega, and made you buy CDs.
And remember Sega Saturn?
Yep, had that too.
My cousin Joey had that. I used to play that at his house.
Yep, that was good. I miss all these consoles, man.
Yeah, you know what game? All right, first game you really remember being like holy shit, this is crazy. Like this is the most insane
I've ever played.
Like the first game that like really stuck with you, like really blew your mind and kind of got you really into gaming. Because I have like one game that like really, like I have distinct memories as a kid being like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life.
Battlefield 1942.
Oh, that was a really good game. That was older though. Like that was we were like what, like teenagers when that came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if I go back to younger, trying to think, like prior to Dreamcast, like, which we'll go into why that business failed horribly.
I think that's
Because
well
that's a very
documented.
easy
Yeah, I
explanation.
think it was
That
well
was like that was AOL when it was just dial-up.
documented.
Um, Here you go while I think. I'm trying to
Alright,
think. This could be a rough one.
So there's one game that I distinctly remember. I didn't have it as a kid because it was on PlayStation 1 before I had PlayStation. And it was the first Resident Evil.
Yeah.
My cousin Joey had it. And I remember going to his house, and I could have, I was like, what? I wasn't even 10 when the first Resident Evil came out. So this is my whole family showing me really violent, fucked up things before I was like 10 years old. But my cousin Joey, he was like, come, like, I came over to his house. He's like, dude, I got to show you something. You got to see this game I got. So he was called Resident Evil. I didn't even know what the word resident meant at the time. Like, I was that young. So he was like, he showed it to me. And I remember very specifically, there's a scene in the game where it's the first time you see like a zombie in the game. Like, it's really right in the beginning. And you walk through a door, and it was funny. Like when you would go through a door in the game, you would like click like X on the controller or whatever, and then the whole screen would go black and show you just a door opening up. Like that was the animation for you changing rooms. So you go into the next room, and you turn a corner, and it goes into this like cutscene animation of a zombie like eating a dude, and the zombie turns his head back,
and in the hallway, and it looked up at you.
And it looks up at you, and I've had fucking nightmares.
I remember that.
For weeks, I was terrified, and every time I'd go to his house, he'd play the same fucking scene over again to fuck with me, and I would close my eyes like a tiny little child because I was.
We remember that.
Yeah, dude,
I remember that, like him tearing into it, the white head, and then he turns up and just looks, and you're in a hallway. Yeah, you're in a hallway, and you have a pistol.
Yeah, and like
no ammo. Yeah, no ammo.
I was so that game not only terrified the shit out of me, but also made me like, okay, I need to. This is amazing. Like I need to play video games. Like this is so cool. Like I used to play like little games like Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff at that time because I was a kid. I was like, I was a little kid.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, dude, I need more of this. Like I'm terrified. I had nightmares forever, but I was like, I need more of this. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like that game there's so many parts of that game that stand out. Like mine, I would have to say, was when you're walking, there was a storm outside, you're walking down the hallway, and the dogs come crashing through the windows, jumping through the windows. Mm-hmm. That was, at that point, I was like, shit.
Yeah, that fucked me up. There were these creatures in it called, they were called hunters. They were like these big green things, and they'd cut your head off in one shot. They were like really dangerous, and I remember they used to freak me out. But granted, I was like 8 years old. Probably not great for me to be seeing that shit. Like if my son was 8 years old, I would be like, "You're not playing anything like that."
Right. So, not that you even be able to make out what the hell it is.
Right, but you know what I mean. Like I would not let him play like a modern Resident Evil when he's 8. Like that's probably a bad idea. But it might be why I'm broken inside. Yeah, so that was like my first like real holy shit, games are amazing, I need to get into this. And like to get back to my point before, people think like, why do you play video games? Like why? Because when I was a little kid, this thing came out that blew my mind. Like nothing like this had ever existed before, and it started to exist when we were kids, and now we're seeing like this crazy gradual increase. And now I just saw at the fucking BAFTAs, the British awards for like for film and stuff, they have games there now. There's BAFTAs for games. Like it's so good. And the game that won like everything just now was The Last of Us 2. And I bought that late on PS4. I got it like on Black Friday, like way after it was out because I'm cheap.
I still haven't played it.
It's literally, I'm not kidding, it's the best movie I've ever seen in my life. It's like, I remember playing it and like I'd play for hours and I'd go to bed and I'd turn to Gina, my wife, and I'd be like, you don't care about video games, but that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, it literally blew my mind. again, all over again. It's like, that's why I'm a grown man that plays video games. Like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Like, see, it's hard for me because I've played for so long. And I've had so many different consoles and so many games. Like I said, Battlefield was just one of those that brought it to the next level.
Yeah, that.
Like, when that game came out, I'm like, you have planes,
Yeah.
and you can have a lot of people in a match. And every time they came out with a new one, it was completely different.
Right.
It wasn't like Call of Duty. Like, I feel like Call of Duty is great, but it's after a while, it's just a fast-paced arcade shooter.
Right.
That's realistically what it is. Warzone changes that.
Yeah.
But the other games, matches, that's all it
Yeah,
is.
I can't play the regular multiplayer. It's just 12-year-olds that whoop my ass all day. Warzone is strategic.
Right.
It's slower paced, and like, I love this new modern Call of Duty. I think this is the best one. I haven't played any.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first Call of Duty I played since Call of Duty 2 or Modern Warfare
Yeah.
2, whatever it was fucking.
Yeah.
But no,
But,
yeah, I
like-
feel you. Battlefield was amazing. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
I actually,
Yeah.
specific memory, we were playing Counter-Strike so much, and then you were like,
Yeah.
I have this game, Battlefield 1942, and you were like, you can like fly planes. I was like, no, you can't. Like, I didn't think
Yeah.
that was possible.
And the bunkers, and you had bazookas and snipers.
I was like, there's no way you can just get in a plane and fly. And you were like, dude, come here. And you like showed me, and I was like, oh my god, you can fly a plane? Like, what?
Yep.
And then jump out of the plane and then get your gun out again and be first-person shooter again? Like, how is this possible? I remember that was another one that blew my mind. Yeah.
So like I followed a lot of like my own trend. Like, they were gaming trends, but like I got stuck with, Battlefield. So I own every single Battlefield that ever came out, even Hardline, the failure. I even did Battlefield Online, which I played for a very long time. But Battlefield Gears of War was another one.
Yeah,
Like,
that was really good.
I missed that.
First Gears
I
of
played.
War.
I have the newest one too,
Yeah, I
which
played
is I think
second.
free on Game Pass,
I played like
even though
second.
Game Pass isn't free.
Yeah.
Halo was always good.
Yeah, Halo. I didn't really get into Halo until I went to like a friend's house and he showed me Halo 2, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is actually really good. And
Yeah.
but I didn't have Xbox, so it took me a while to like really get into Halo.
Yeah.
But Halo was revolutionary. It made multiplayer games like as popular as they are. It has to be credited as like one of the biggest multiplayer games in history. It was amazing at its time.
At the time.
Yeah. You can't play
At the
Halo
time.
now; it would be terrible. But
Yeah.
like in its day, it was amazing.
But even like Quake or Quake 2,
Oh yeah, Unreal Tournament.
Unreal Tournament, playing that online was insane.
Yeah. Do you remember like LAN parties of Unreal Tournament? Because that's how.
Yeah.
It was like LAN parties. People like bring their PCs to other people's houses.
Yep.
Hook them up. I remember I took computer science class in vocational school, and our computers were really shitty, so like they couldn't play any like modern games. So one kid brought in fucking Unreal Tournament, and while the teacher like wasn't paying attention, he would just hand the disc around to everyone, and we would all install Unreal Tournament on our computers.
And then you would have to use the CD crack.
We had a
You remember?
Yeah, we had a cracked CD key, and we would all install Unreal Tournament on our computers, and we would LAN because we were all LAN together for class.
Yep.
And when he'd be like, "Okay, code your shit," and he was a teacher, he'd be like, "Code your stuff. I'm gonna go read a book." Like he wasn't paying attention. We would just all LAN party Unreal Tournament.
Yep.
And just fucking play each other. That was great.
Dude, we used to do that with what was it? Not Warcraft, because I could never get into that, but StarCraft and Red Alert 2.
Oh, Red Alert 2.
Yeah, that brought like Age of Empires to like an insane level.
Thinking back, like I had no idea. Like Red Alert 2 was a Cold War era.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what the fuck I was talking. I don't know what the Cold War was, and I was like,
I just know you needed blimps and you dominated the entire game.
yeah, if you got blimps.
It was the race to blimps.
Yeah, race to blimps. That's funny. That's true. Yeah, dude.
So that just proves how old we are,
I was
though,
just gonna
as
say,
well.
I'm feeling really old.
Yeah.
And like we're not really old, but like I'm feeling a little old right now.
Yeah.
Don't mistake the fact that I can't grow a real beard. I'm older than I look.
And don't mistake the fact that I have a beard. I just can't grow any hair on my head. That I'm very old.
I don't know if you could tell, but this is thinning rather quickly.
Yeah, but with the right camera angle and lighting.
Yeah,
All good.
I just need makeup, camera, lighting. I need a crew.
Yeah.
Give me a crew.
I have to turn my white balance off so you don't see like a glare, so just a giant white spot on my head.
Gotta turn the
So
exposure
it
down.
has natural tones.
Gotta turn the highlights down.
Yeah.
Oh man, shit. All right. Well, we got way off the rails on that one.
We did.
I have 4 topics. We talked about 0. So
We did like 1.5.
we did the introduction, and then that's
So we did 1.
yeah. We did 1. All right, so one of 4. That's not bad,
1.
right? That's
Not bad.
Like if you're playing a football game and you do well in 1 quarter,
You still lose
you
though.
lose, but it's fine. At least you have that 1 quarter. All right.
Well, listen, if you only play for 1 quarter and your team wins, you still get a Super Bowl ring.
Right. So if you only play for 1, it's right. There you go. That's right. We're the 3rd string running backs of the Super Bowl winners.
Yes, we will take our participation pins and ribbons and hang them proudly on our shelf.
Mm-hmm. I'm hanging around my neck. And as I walk around town, ask me about my participation pin.
I'm gonna let my tongue drool on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good. I thought that was pretty good. I know you got to go do your stream now, so you go and do that. Thanks for joining me. This will, if anyone's watching, this will be up on YouTube, and we are also going to be putting this on, an audio podcast as well. So, we don't have that up just yet, but when it is up, we'll let you know where it is. So, if you like this, please subscribe. It's free for you, and it helps support us a lot. So please
Ring that bell.
Right. Yeah. Do the bell thingy with the notifications. Do that.
This way you know when we're live and we post new stuff. It'll come up on your alerts every time you log into YouTube.
Right. It is very helpful. I have about 800 alerts that I haven't clicked on my YouTube because that's what I do. I support everyone I follow, so I get 1 million alerts. But yeah, and then leave a like, and if you think we suck, leave a dislike because constructive criticism is helpful, right?
Right.
So,
and also, make sure you comment down in the bottom there. So any ideas, topics, if you guys agree with us on anything, if you have anything to add to this, I'll be glad to read through it, mention it in the next podcast.
Right. And if you want to send me like a private message to tell me how terrible I am, which I get a lot anyway, so I'm kind of used to it.
Make it public. Don't hide behind a name and a DM.
But if you want to, it's Nico, nico.knuckleheads@gmail.com. So send that to me if you really want to curse me out, but you're too scared to put it in the comments. That's great too. But anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.